Hello and welcome to Clover Culinary, where we cook fabulous food with flair. Thank you for stopping by my kitchen here in Jersey City. Tonight's recipe will be homemade pesto sauce made with fresh basil, among other fresh ingredients. Now, pesto sauce is a robust, delicious, hearty sauce that comes from the northwestern part of Italy. It's also one of the most wealthy part of Italy. It's the part that has the Italian Riviera resort there. So the basil leaves give it a robust flavor, so we'll just make it with all fresh ingredients. And it's such a simple, quick recipe to make. It's a fun recipe to make with other people or children because you don't even have to cook it. It will all be ready in about 10 minutes. So of course you start out with the main ingredient, which is fresh basil leaves. Now, pesto is called crush in Old Italian because in the old ways they would crush it with a mortar and pestle, so you could chop this up. It's so easy to make however you want it. I'll be making it with my little electric chopper. You can make it in a blender, mortar and pestle, or just chop it up by hand. But I'll just be using my chopper. Let's make things even easier. So you start with about 2 to 3 cups of fresh basil leaves. And I'll put this in the food processor. Okay, so just about 2 to 3 cups of fresh basil leaves. And these fresh basil leaves smell out of this world. So just stuff your food processor or chopper with basil leaves and some fill out, and I'll chop it away. Okay, so once it's all chopped down, I can add more. Now there's room for more leaves. So I said I use about 2 to 3 cups of leaves. Don't drop them on the floor. So once the basil leaves are all chopped and mashed up, there's room to add other ingredients. And the other ingredient would be this pignoli nut, or English-speaking people call it a pine nut, but in Italian, Italy, they call it a pignoli nut. So just add some pignoli nuts. Some people roast the pignoli nuts before they put them in, but I've made it both ways and there's really no difference. You don't really need to roast them. It tastes just as delicious if you put them in whole like this. So now we'll crunch up our pignoli nuts. If you don't have pignoli nuts, you could use walnuts, but most of the traditional way is pignoli nuts or pine nuts. So the nuts should be ground up in about like 2 to 3 minutes. And the next ingredient we'll add is our garlic. Of course, there's garlic in all Italian food, mostly all has garlic. So I have 4 cloves of garlic right here. Before I chop them in the electric chopper, I'm just going to crush them first, just to make sure. So of course you could vary the amount of garlic depending on how much you like garlic. So I'll crush it. Put it in the chopper. Crush it, and then we'll chop it up. Now some people think there's no such thing as too much garlic, and if you like garlic, you still got to be careful. So I have my 4 cloves of garlic. Now that's a lot, And if you love garlic, you have to be careful putting too much garlic in, even if you're one of those people who think you can never have too much garlic, because this sauce, you don't have to cook. So there's a difference between eating raw garlic and eating cooked garlic. So I have 4 cloves of garlic, which is more on the lot side of garlic. So 2 to 4 cloves of garlic, depending on how much you like garlic. Then we'll just chop up the garlic for a couple of minutes. If you could smell this, you can smell the basil and the garlic, it's just so delicious. And the other ingredient we'll add is Parmigiano Romano cheese. I put it already grated. You can grate it yourself if you like to be like really fancy. But I have about 2 cups, not one to 2 cups of grated Parmesan Romano cheese. And if you have a big food processor, you can just put the chunks in and it'll process and chop it up for you. But I bought it already grated, and I'll just add the cheese. And you don't want to add too much cheese because you don't want the cheese to overpower the flavor of the basil. You want the basil to be the main flavor. It's not really a cheese sauce, but you want it to be more of a basil sauce. So I add about like 1.5 cups of grated Parmesan Romano cheese. And then we'll chop this up. And you could add the juice of half a lemon. The acidity will help break out the cheese flavor and the basil flavor. Just a couple of squeezes. Make sure you don't get any lemon pits in it. And the lemon juice will help keep it a bright green color. Now if you serve this, you want to serve it the day that you make it because it'll keep the nice bright green color. After a couple of days, it might turn a dark green color. The lemon juice will help prevent that, and it'll taste just as delicious, only it will have a darker green color. Oh, now this electric chopper is a good idea. I should use it more often. I like to chop things by hand, but today's modern conveniences, let's chop it. So the last ingredient we'll add is our olive oil. So I have extra virgin olive oil, any kind of olive oil you want, virgin, extra virgin, regular. You know, virgin is someone who's never had any, and extra virgin is someone who's never even thought of it, but I don't know what it means in olive oil. Something about the pressing, the first press, the second press. It always tastes good, olive oil, no matter what variety you use. So I want to add about 1.5 cups to 2 cups of olive oil. So I'm doing it by eye. You could measure it on measuring cups if you want. So this should be enough. Now we'll mix it all together. So like I said, after that you want to check out the consistency. If it's too dry for you, you could add more olive oil. But this looks like it's a really good consistency. To see if it needs any more seasoning. And of course it needs salt and pepper. But I'm going to give it a little bit of a taste. There's already salt in the cheese, so I may not need salt. Give it a little taste. This is so good. I can taste the garlic and the basil, and this is really good. I'm going to add a little bit more salt. And a little bit more pepper. A little bit of black pepper. And I'm going to add a little bit more olive oil, just a touch more. Mix it all up in the electric mixer. So this is a simple, foolproof recipe. There's no need to ever buy a jar of pesto sauce in the supermarket when it's quick and easy to make at home. It's done. You don't have to heat it up. You don't have to You could heat it up if you want to eat it hot, but it doesn't have to be cooked. It's just throw the ingredients in a mixer, mix it up, and there you have the most delicious fresh pesto sauce. You can eat it over pasta. Let me get my pasta that one of my gorgeous stagehands made earlier. Now this is you can eat it cold, like a cold pasta salad, or you can just heat it up in the microwave or in a saucepan. You can put it over bread, over meat. Just mix it up. Just gonna have this cold, like cold pasta salad. Perfect for those summer afternoons. And just have your most delicious pesto sauce with pasta. And it's just like being on the Italian Riviera. So as they say in Italy, mangia, that means eat. Thank you for coming to Clover Culinary with pesto sauce made with fresh basil and other fresh ingredients. Thank you.